act up on my side. I don't really have a backup to if they do. Oops. So so sorry about that. Also testing out a microphone that should be a backup mic. That never believe other people what they say about equipment. Always test your own stuff. I was told that this microphone, oh, let me squeeze that. This microphone most likely would not need a cloud lifter to get the full potential out of it. But my voice might sound a little different today. There might be a little bit more, I hope not fuzz in my voice. But yeah, when my preamp is maxed out, so I can probably back it down. If I know I'm gonna be, no, I can't even back it down. My preamp is maxed out, which means that you're gonna hear you might hear a little bit of static of some sort, and I apologize for that. Yeah, this microphone, just like the SM7B, needs a cloud lifter, or something of the sorts. Yeah, the people that try to help you out with equipment and stuff like that, many times they're very good natured in what they're doing. They're actually trying to help. That doesn't mean they know what they're doing, or they know exactly what they're talking about. That just means they're really trying to help. What I'm in the background, of course, I'm still trying to get a few more pieces of backup equipment ready to go, just in case things go out. And one of the least expensive microphones you can buy, other than the Blue Ember that you can't find anywhere, and I'm on a waiting list for. The Blue Ember is like the most magical surprise mic I've ever found. But it was one of the microphones that was connected when everything went to heck in a handbasket, and I had that the power surge come into the office. Welcome to the family. The EJ3. The EJ3. Welcome thee. Anyway, I thank you so much, everyone. Welcome to the family over there. Basically, what's going on with this microphone at the moment is that since I can't get a hold of a Blue Ember, and my Blue Ember was connected to that to my interface that was affected by the surge, I decided to go ahead and get this microphone as a backup because it's $100. This is the SM57 from Shure. And most reviews and most people, and even at Guitar Center, said you do not need a cloud lifter for it. The whole point of a cloud lifter is to give you more clean gain without actually maxing out your preamp. Because as soon as you start maxing out the preamps, the phantom power, you are going to start hearing a little bit of distortion, a little bit of you're gonna hear a few things. It's exactly why the Shure SM7B, the microphone I truly want, which costs $400, is not a microphone I've bought, because on that $400 price tag, you also need a cloud lifter that costs $150. So for that microphone, my actual dream microphone, that's like $550 right then and there. And this one costs $100, and by being smaller and figuring that it would take less power, so basically can be powered, I believe the review. I shouldn't believe anything anymore. So if my voice sounds a little different today, then I apologize for it, but I'm going to continue to test out this microphone. It's a backup mic. After today, I'll know that if it works well enough, even without a cloud lifter, I can't afford a cloud lifter because I haven't been working the past few days. Without a cloud lifter, if it works, then I can put it aside and let it be there just in case something comes up. So it's yeah. Well, I'm simplifying what the cloud lifter does. I'm trying my. Yeah, you got a new shiny badge.
My mouth.
Oh my gosh, is my donation thing not working like it's supposed to?
Please. Please.
Oh my God, no! Don't do this to me. Don't do this to me. Don't do this to me. Everyone, hashtag over there.
I'm getting a noise complaint,
Evil Yoshi
but you know what? I don't even care
Lucas.
because this is my art. And no, fuck!
Thank you guys so much. And Richie. Thank you guys so much. I really do appreciate it. Because Richie is about to
put it in my mouth.
Oh gosh.
Put it in my mouth.
Yeah.
Please.
That is the scary part of all of this right now.
My city is on fire, my store looted and shut down, and the National Guard is roaming the curfew closed streets. It's all fine.
Oh gosh. And well, welcome to the family over there. I think that was Raymond. Or wait, which one? There's a few. Welcome to the family, Raymond. Thank you so much. We've got quite a few people. I need to up that. Oh, my donation bar is gonna be screwing with me. Whoa! Welcome to the family mutation design. Hello there, my. Oh boy, everything of mine is breaking on myself. This thing. What I should do, since my CPU is saying I'm at like 81%, something's running that shouldn't, and basically sucking up all the power. And I do not like that. I don't know what it is. I wonder if I'll get in trouble for doing that. Let's hope everything keeps running even after I just did that. That was probably a bad move. Let's just refresh that. Let's see if that does it. Refreshing it, does that do? Oh, it only puts up 2? Oh, Jesus. This is gonna be bad. I'm gonna have to go back and manually do things. Hey there, Trayvon.
Put it in my mouth. Please.
Richie, I didn't forget about what just...
Hello.
Hello, Trayvon. And I did not forget that what just happened over there with you, Richie. Hold on one sec.
Erection. It actually arouses me very much. Thank you. America.
Actually, I need my phone. Oh my God, everyone, hashtag Psycho066. Thank you so incredibly much. My timer should not be screwed up. It is just that donation bar that is screwed up. Yeah, it is literally just the donation bar that's screwed up. Everyone, welcome to the family, Evil Yoshi, which means I am going to go and use the calculator to fix that bar, and then hopefully it'll catch back up to what we're doing. Thank you, Psycho. Richie, I am so sorry to hear that your store is looted. Yeah, I'm gonna briefly touch that subject, and I'm briefly gonna touch it. Let's not get hung up on that too much tonight. Only because it's gonna be way too easy to get hung up on that subject. Everyone, hashtag Psycho, thank you so much. I'm going to make the bar what it's supposed to be, because when it's not there, people actually like. I guess feel a sense of accomplishment that is getting somewhere. I'm not sure, but like by the way that you guys have responded when that bar isn't there, it's thrown me off big time. I never expected that bar would actually end up meaning something like I can understand though now. I get it. I get where everyone's coming from, because they like seeing that they help contribute to make something continue on, especially when this is like how I have to run things now. But my CPU being overloaded might be again the problem here. So hopefully I can, let's see if things shut down, there'll be a new stream that we start. Let's see if refreshing it does it. I doubt it. I doubt refreshing it would do it. So what I have to go and do is actually put in what I just calculated was the actual setting. With 138. It doesn't affect the timer whatsoever, but it means that things coming up, it might not keep parsing what's going on. So I hope that it works out. Please, I'm gonna disable it. I'm gonna save it. I'm gonna enable it. I'm gonna save it. I'm gonna save all of it. And then I'm just gonna go over there. And now I'm gonna hope that it just works. let me touch on the events that are currently happening. Let's see if this updates properly really quickly. And then, uh-oh. Man, my computer is taxed from this. Man, I really should have restarted my computer before I did this because I didn't something's running in the background that shouldn't. Something's just simply running in the background that shouldn't be running in the background. But, ooh, we got another family member, it looks like. Let's see. It's please pop up really quickly, and then I'm gonna say something. I'm gonna say something that. Welcome to the family. There it goes. Now it's working. Welcome to the family, Kane. Thank you so much. I'm gonna pause alerts for just a moment here, and I'm gonna say something, and then I don't want to really talk about it too much more right now, because I know I've been away for the past few nights. I haven't been here, and tonight the only difference of why I'm here is basically that my son isn't here under the same roof as me tonight. It's not just that. It's also that someone's got my 6 and that I don't have to worry about having headphones on. So I'm not just off guard by having headphones. I am sorry that so much is happening, especially Richie, to hear that your store got looted and whatnot. I'm not going to hear in grandstand and make a big statement because I really doubt YouTube would like that. And I don't know if this is really the platform for it, but I already made a comment on my channel page. I talked about what's happening and how I feel about this. I don't think I tried to word it the way that not just to ride the fence, because I'm not riding the fence on this issue. It's just that I think the reason that I'm upset about the way things are going, it stems first from something that most people would probably like really demonize me for, because my way of thinking is different. Let me say this about what's going on. Again, read the community post if you want the long-winded version, but there are bad things that happen every single day. There are atrocities that are committed every single day, and you never hear about them. You're too far removed, whether it's the fact that media outlets have to pick it up, or whether it's just this and the other, that it's just not, it doesn't affect your community or whatnot. Whatever the reason, there are just, it's not like this world is just a place where it's almost like you have to accept that to find the beauty in this world, you have to trudge through the murk and the grime, that they go almost hand in hand, because you're never going to find anything that's just 100%. We get so removed from it that when an issue comes up, we don't necessarily know how to deal with it. Issues come up that maybe we don't necessarily, it's not that we aren't prepared to tackle it in a proper way. And that's all I really want to say during this stream about it, that there are proper and improper ways to tackle things that are wrong, that happen, that are wrong. I'm sad to see that people are being, what really made me sad is that I learned before I got on the stream today that there are other YouTubers out there who are condoning things like looting. That's upsetting. There are other channels out there that are saying that that those actions are okay. Oh boy. I don't want to go down that rabbit hole too far, because that'll make me go over an edge that I don't want to. We're hitting a point right now where there is an issue that's come up that's in the public eye, that more people have heard about it. They've heard it, It's been on the news. They had videotape of it, and they want to do something about it. And so I was not on the past few days because there were things happening even around my area. I live close to Atlanta. So for those that know exactly when and where things are happening, that immediately right there says something. But the truth of the matter is, change isn't something that happens overnight. And it doesn't happen because of necessarily the measures you think that it would take. Rallies and protests have a place and they have a time and they're needed. And there is no such thing as a people that are protected by laws. That is an illusion. People protected by laws are put in place by people. And by people abiding by the law, you believe in the law. You hold it as a society. We make a moral stance and we put it into law. And sometimes those laws are unjust. That the morals of the time, or the time at which it was written, the true ears or the true voices of the populace weren't heard correctly. And it's at that time where you realize that there can be unjust laws and unjust actions that happen under the guise of law. And more people need to realize that it's not the laws that are protecting it. The laws are in place to help keep a society in balance. But the true check against injustice and laws that are wrong are the people in which they govern. The people that govern them are the ones that keep, like, a government has checks and balances for the U.S. Each branch is supposed to have a check, one branch they keep in check, and the other branch that keeps them in balance, that they can't go overboard. So it's like a triangle that goes in circles, that basically one branch can't go overboard because another branch can step in. If you think of it kind of in a dumbed down version. In that same sense, a government is kept in check by its people. The proof of the pudding in that is the reason why the United States even exists. They kept a government in check, and when that government decided that it still wanted to act the way it did, a revolution happened. And the United States is actually one of the newest countries out there. It's actually relatively new when it comes down to other places that have a longer history, more well established throughout times of having to go through some of these struggles. Protests, rallies, they're needed, but they aren't needed in a sporadic, just one time and then we forget. If you really want to change something, change it by changing the way that you conduct your life. Change it by changing the way that you choose what you want to see happen in the world, and then you choose a path that helps you find how to make that change. Yes, something that shouldn't have happened. But even now, I'm gonna risk getting grilled by the internet by saying I don't think people are even going at this the right way. I think that protests and rallies are needed. One, it's deplorable to me that people are condoning looting. I was just in my grocery store right before this, and someone was bragging about how much they stole. How is that helping anything? When the law is actually protected by the people, not the people protected by the law, then how is the act of going against what society deems as wrong protecting the law and helping to uphold what we consider to be righteous and true and a societal moral that we want to act as a guidepost? How is setting things on fire and defacing things the right way to go? I don't see it. I don't see it unless it's a last resort. And we just hit an issue where we're at our first resorts. We're at the first and the beginning. And even in the beginning, people aren't realizing what they're necessarily arguing for. I'm hearing so many different versions of what people are wanting to argue about. And they want to bring race into it. They want to bring cops into it. And they want to bring so many other things into it. What I heard and is a story of a bunch of ways that a situation can go wrong very fast. I heard people who are doing things that are right and things that are things that are being done wrong. From the facts I've tried to gather, and I haven't been trying to go by the media outlets, I've been trying to go to what has been gathered and then formulate my own opinion. I hear that there are things that weren't necessarily done correctly by either side. In the end, somebody lost their life who shouldn't have lost their life. From what I've heard, there was somebody who was being belligerent and was in public intoxicated. Luckily, they weren't the driver. So at least if they were drunk and doing something, they weren't the person driving. I also heard that they used a counterfeit bill. And where did that come from and how did that procure? The facts of that aren't there yet. So I heard that now somebody called in they followed protocol at a store, which police showed up, of course, to see what was going on. I see that there are so far facts that when confronted, there is a gentleman who didn't want to just hand over cigarettes that he had just paid for. Was it because he didn't know the bill was counterfeit? I don't know. That hasn't come out yet. Was it because he was intoxicated? I don't know. What I do know is that in not just complying with something simple, there's something wrong right there. That it was a simple request while they tried to figure something out. Immediately I see that one side that's being put on a pedestal as we need justice for it, that they weren't completely in the right also. It's not that they were wrong. It's just that this world is made up of a gray area that you have to tread lightly. And from what I see from what transpired after that, there is a man who started complaining of basically not being able to breathe before he was ever put on the ground. There's a gentleman who was complaining about being able to catch his breath before he ever was pinned to the ground. And there's an autopsy that shows that it wasn't asphyxiation that was the cause of death. I hear a story of somebody who didn't want to get in the back of a cop car. And you know what? The first thing that I want to think of is that if he already was having problems breathing before anyone was touching him, an older gentleman, close to being 50, intoxicated, smoking, which already you've got a cocktail right there for a depressed system and also lung problems. And then, adrenaline now pumping because police officers are involved. Those are a cocktail for a medical condition. Should he have handed things over? Yes. Should he have complied a little bit more? Yes. Did he? No. Did that justify a death? No, it didn't. Because at the end, there was also people who showed up that should have been listening to medical concerns. And instead, they were too rough. To the point of just, it went over the top. It was unnecessary. Were they following partly protocol on the way that they were treating somebody who is being quote unquote belligerent? Partly, yes. Yeah, they were actually. Did they go too far? Yes. So was there a right and wrong in that too? Yeah, there is. Once the facts keep coming in more and more, it seems like the only truth that there is to this is that somebody needed medical attention, and there are a group of people who are supposed to help uphold laws and protect the people. And they didn't do half of that part. They tried to uphold laws, but by protecting people, you get medical assistance when need be. You check on somebody and you stop if they're not resisting. You listen to their concerns, not as a protocol in a textbook. And you never ever let your anger get in the way of doing what's right. And of course, indignation and anger was where the person that pinned him to the ground got him in trouble. That was wrong. For him not to listen to the pleas of somebody that was suffering before he was ever put on the ground, which is something that gets to me. That if it's something that's said before you're even being grappled and then you're put on the ground, you want to know where my big problem and the reason why I'm afraid that I'm about to get like skewered by some of the internet and get a few nasty emails over this? I'm disgusted that there are people who just sat there while yelling. There's one police officer who was disagreeing with those methods. We know that now. One of them spoke up and said it was time to stop that. We also know that there were onlookers, people who watched this happen. We know that now that the person who called it in as a counterfeit bill was crushed. They were just following protocol for a store, and they sat there wishing they had never called the police. But the thing that makes me, that it's hard for me to not shake and be angry, that I'm really trying my best for, is that we have a society of people who pulled out their cell phones, and their form of justice was to record. Their form of making sure that they're held accountable was to record something going wrong. And to scream and shout and use words, but just to record. I don't want to feel unique when I make this statement. Please do not make me feel that way. And if you don't agree with me, I understand. But from my viewpoint, I don't know how that happened. I have no idea how it happened that so many people were there with cell phones. I don't know how it happened so many people were there watching. I don't know how it happened that so many eyes were on the officers, that everyone thought that true justice was to pull out a cell phone and record somebody dying, with nobody coming to, that post was, that community post I made was the most truncated way I could make it. But my version of events, where were the people who were there to try to protect that man? When you find out the people who are there to serve and protect are not protecting, that they're simply serving and forgetting to listen. And you have onlookers that think they're doing the right thing by just holding a phone up. Where were the people that actually stepped up to get him off? See, this world is so much not made up of black and white that I'm infuriated from the get-go. I'm infuriated from the get-go that there was a crowd of onlookers that believed that the true justice in the situation was to record what was happening, instead of trying to step in. I understand there's fear. I understand fear very well. Fear of especially authority, of what could happen to you for doing that, to step up. But to hear somebody gasping or pleading for air, and to see that the people who are supposed to be taking care of it are doing it wrong, and to think that justice is being served by you pulled out your phone and recorded it. Am I so unique that I think that somebody there should have stepped up? You see, my whole point I'm making before I start the stream is that there are so many gray areas of how to approach something. There are so many facts that go behind it. There are rights and there are wrongs. There's no such thing as somebody being completely right or completely wrong, usually. Usually even people that have to go the ends justify the means, when they end up saying that, they end up admitting that they did something wrong to get the desired effect. And now my city, as well as other cities, are being torn up. At least where I live, there were civil protests and walks that happen today. But it's the people who are true cowards that come out at night that do things that could be dangerous. There was one cop who saw something was going on that was wrong. And there were onlookers who got out their phones instead of trying to stop them. You see, where my anger starts is by a populace that so far forgets that we are the ones to keep those who keep us safe. We are their check and their balance. We are the ones that keep them in balance. Yes, police officers work to save and to protect, but when they step out of line, when a government steps out of line, it is the people who they govern that are supposed to step up. And while I believe that the protests and that the rallies and everything are very much just, it's one of those, a protest might not be needed if there were civilians who were standing by and instead of hiding behind cell phones, remembered their role in the government that they live in the place they live in. Their role was to stand there and stand up to an injustice they saw. I don't want to feel like I'm the only one that saw that as being the first thing to be angry about. I don't know how people can just stand behind a phone and record it without, even if it puts you at risk, even if it puts your own life. You get to live in a society that isn't war-torn. We get to live someplace. People in the United States forget we get to live someplace where peace is usually the name of the game. And that atrocities that happen are either swept under the rug or blimped out of proportion so fast that we forget the facts of what happened. And then we have a people who take it so much for granted that they forget they have a duty by living here. Simply by being born here, living here, and accepting that you have certain freedoms. Accepting that you can be protected by those same people. That you have a duty yourself to stand up to the atrocities you see. 20, 30, 40 years ago, my skin color was a thing that was an atrocity that had to be stood up to more than... There's a man way before I was born that was asking, why aren't people judged by the content of the character rather than the color of their skin? And there were rallies, and there are things that had to change. And then there was somebody else that believed in the same things except for that we had to fight. It was atrocities there also that were happening. And those that were carrying out the order to basically make it so that skin color was something that was upheld, those who were sent out to make sure that that kept going, was the police coming out with fire hoses. And you saw that there was a peaceful way to even stand up to police back then. I'm going to take a breather and come back because apparently my 6 tells me that there might be some screaming outside. So I need to go check on that really quickly, and I'm going to take a breather, and then we're going to start this shindig, but I'm about finished with what I got to say, and then we're going. Hold on 1 second for me, guys. It's all right. It was innocent. It was an innocent thing that was happening outside. It's kids playing and screaming. It sent off a little bit of an alarm bell. Sorry about that. I've rambled on long enough and we should get to a stream. What do I have to say about all this? It's not a black and white world. Not everything's just wrong or right, and there are certain ways to stand up to what is wrong. To hear somebody bragging about looting while I was grocery shopping was disgusting. To know that people to try to send a message are resorting to the last measure, something that is considered a violent measure in my eyes, by burning cop cars and setting things ablaze. The violence is a measure that is to be taken with nothing less than the most and utmost respect for the topic, the subject, and how it's used. Anything that can be construed as violence, and it is a last measure. It is a last measure that we go to, or it is the measure that we go to simply because we have no other things at our disposal, that it is what is required, because the use of violence saves more lives than it extinguishes, and it stops more bloodshed than it creates. Violence to be used justly, that is what it's used for. But violent acts that I've heard that are going on lately, they have no place in a world where we truly want to see a society that rises above something like this. It's disgusting to me. And for people that to condone it, to say it's part of the process of getting justice. Even people who responded on some of my posts that said that they was basically, if you're not heard for long enough that you resort to that, let me ask you this. Have we really exhausted all of our options? Like, really? We exhausted all of our options that fast that we need to go and do things like... The first night I didn't stream where we were supposed to have a fun night, somebody just decided to fire a firearm into this, I'm assuming into the air, because there were no incident reports the next day. Couldn't have been more than 2 miles from here, but by 15 rounds going off by my count, I'm assuming that it's probably a pistol. And people have been setting off fireworks yesterday and doing a lot of things, and I didn't want to have cans on my ears and not be able to hear when my son was under my roof. My son is no longer under my roof, so we're back to streaming and whatnot. And I've got somebody that can hear better than I can while I'm doing this, so I'm not just sitting here as a sitting duck and whatnot. But I'm just... Right now, I think that I'm not going to address the subject again for quite some time, because I don't think I belong in this conversation in the first place. When my first anger is at the people who stood there and watched somebody die and hid behind their phones, and they called that justice, I already know that I'm looking at it differently than the people who are out there protesting. I don't belong out there with the people who have signs in hand are rallying, because my ideals and the way that I view the whole situation deviates immediately from the get-go. From the beginning, the way that I view how everything that's going, how this world even operates, how this country operates, how the people in this country operate differs from the norm. I know that. It's not different enough that it makes me unique, because I know that there's a sect of people who have done things in their life and they realize that stepping up sometimes is the only way to stop it. But I do realize that most people out there aren't people who have seen bloodshed in their life. Most people out there that are protesting are just people who want to see atrocities not happen again. And there are those that are taking advantage of it. And I am sick and tired of hearing about people taking advantage of an issue that really has to be tackled head on. And I'll tell you right now, you'll hear it from me one more time, if in a week or so, 2 weeks, that the issue gets blown up into being something that it's not. This was an issue that didn't necessarily have everything to do with race, and it doesn't necessarily have everything to do with police. It doesn't necessarily have everything to do with what the actions that happened that led up to it. It has to do with there was a medical issue that wasn't addressed. There was a crime that was committed by who? Not quite sure. There was a medical issue that wasn't addressed. And because somebody that was sworn to protect and serve did not protect and take care of the medical issue, somebody is dead. I'm not going to sit here and make a complete evaluation of it until I hear all the facts, because already I've heard one of them. To not have died of asphyxiation when people basically are saying that the actions made him choke to death or stop. There are more facts that need to come out. And already coroner reports are talking about that most likely substances in his body helped do it. This was just another variable that basically was the straw that broke the camel's back. So I'm not going to sit here and try to pretend that I know exactly where I'm upset mostly over how are we a country of people that really believe that justice is sitting behind a cell phone and watching somebody die. That's where I'm sitting at. So if you want to know my true opinion on things, I'm kind of stuck on that part. And I'm also stuck on the fact that people out there that don't share my viewpoint, that maybe they see it a little differently, and it's fine for them to see it differently because we all grew up in a different way. It is something that has to be addressed. It does. And there are people out there right now that are protesting peacefully, having rallies peacefully. And they're doing that to bring light to it so that it must be addressed properly. They're making sure that it doesn't take a back seat. And I don't necessarily belong with those people because I'm not sure that I ascribe to exactly the same reasons why they believe this is the issue that it is. What I am saying is that there is a duty on every single person to step up, that to not take where they live for granted, and to realize that the biggest check and balance they have on the people who govern them are the people that are being governed. And it just sickens me to know that how many angles of phone footage came out of a man's death without anyone using anything but words to try to stop it. Approaching it, I know it's scary. I know that. It's just that's where I'm stuck. That's where I'm hung up at. Somebody died because they weren't being listened to by a police officer, and because everyone watching did not intervene. It's that second point that makes me realize that I'm not on the same page as those who are protesting and rallying. And it's why that I know that I have to back off and not really comment too much about it. I have an issue that somebody passed that needed medical attention, and I have an issue that there are enough people there, one police officer and enough people onlooking, that they forgot their responsibility for being able to live in a society that protects them is to protect people who are not being protected properly, to keep in check those who keep us safe. And instead they sat there behind a cell phone and watched someone die. That makes me furious. I know that sounds weird, and that's why I want to leave it off, because that sickens me. I only say it because I know that I have scars on my body from stepping into fights that I had no place in being. They weren't a fight that I started, but it was something I saw. I have plenty of damage to my body from stepping in at somewhere that maybe people don't think I belong, but I realize that sometimes, every now and then, there are other people who are just trying to live their life just like me that need help. And if I can help, I will. And if it puts me in danger, that's the price I pay for living in a place that keeps me, usually on a daily basis, safe. And I also realize that in that same place that I usually stop and see if people are okay, I stop and see if people are hurting each other and to see if I can intervene. I stop when even cars break down, to know that I realize that I shouldn't be necessarily part of this conversation because I'm willing to stop for, it reminds me of where there was somebody who he couldn't have even been 20 yet. He was stuck at a major intersection right around the corner from me. And it was during rush hour. So, rush hour around here, but heavy traffic. Hundreds of cars must have passed by him before I came by. And he's sitting there, obviously not knowing what to do. And all he needed was somebody to help push that car. I had to go around a corner, into another parking lot, park my car, cross 2 intersections, and then get out into the road, and I helped a man push his car into a parking lot. And then I got in there, and he seemed so relieved that somebody helped him out because he didn't know what to do. And to me, I said, it's fine. Like, that's just what you do. But then when I was leaving there, I realized when I was telling him, it's fine, it's just what you do, there were hundreds of other people who passed this person, and they thought it was fine to leave somebody stranded, alone, not knowing what to do, not helping, as if it's not their problem so they can turn a blind eye. It was simply he was going out of my way 15 minutes to help push a car so that traffic could flow more smoothly and somebody could be out of danger, because being in traffic in rush hour and having a car, he's asking for a fender bender or worse, or to cause a second accident, another accident. And it took me coming along. Where were the other people that were parked right there in all those stores coming out to help push that car? Where were all the other people that passed by that could have done the exact same thing I did? Where were all the people that could have helped me push that damn car once I got it going? Where were all the people that could have followed my example that I was putting out at that? And I wasn't trying to put out an example. I was just trying to do the right thing. But apparently, I'm that unique when it comes to that too. I'm unique enough that pushing a car is something that this person had nobody else that was willing to do when hundreds, thousands of other people had passed by and didn't even blink an eye at this. If that's the case when it comes to a stopped car, then I don't belong in this conversation or at the protests or the rallies, because people just won't understand or relate to the anger that I have when it comes to they hid behind phones instead of standing up to an injustice right in front of their eyes. Even if it puts you at risk, even if it costs you your life, your responsibility of living in a country that says it will protect is to protect those that the country has not properly protected. You are the check and the balance. And I'm sorry if it's scary to have to stand up to that. But you know what? If 1 or 2 people had done that, instead of using words, used their actions to stand up to what they saw was an atrocity, saw it plainly enough with their own eyes that they whipped out phones. If they had done the right thing in the first place and put themselves on the line knowing it's what they owe to the country they live in, it is their responsibility to make sure that things like that don't happen in front of their eyes. That's the price they pay for living in this, to still stay here, is to help stand up and be the check and balance to those who are supposed to serve and protect. And when they see them not protecting, to step in when all of those people don't do something. And that's the thing I'm angry about. I realize that, yeah, I don't belong necessarily because the rallies and the protests shouldn't be here for this over a man's death. They should be there over the fact that citizens had to step in and stop somebody. These rallies and protests should be there over maybe an officer going too far, and citizens saving somebody's life. Where the hell is that part of the story? That is why this is the only time you're gonna hear me talk and rant about it, really, until more developments come out. Because I'm still angry at that part. Why the hell are we having protests over someone who died instead of protests over something that went wrong, and also speaking about the citizens who did the right thing? So, to those that are out there and helping to hold signs and are protesting, thank you. You're doing what's needed. You're doing the right thing. You're doing the right thing as long as you're making sure that violence is a last resort and that you're not stooping so low as to believe that it is the first option, because it's easy to be violent. The right way is usually the harder way. It's the way that takes patience and time and willingness to be out there and to have the resolve to keep going even when others stop. Usually that's the path that leads to something that's better, a change that actually works. Violence is the last resort when that doesn't work. I applaud those people that are out there. I can't join them because from the get-go, my ideals of how this went down so greatly differ that I don't feel right among them. And it's not to me saying that I'm something high and mighty. It's me saying that I view this society a little bit differently. And I view it as the biggest atrocity is that people believed that their true justice was recording things on a phone instead of remembering that they are the check and balance against those who protect and serve. When they get out of line, that it is the citizens that they're protecting and serving, it's their job to step in. For anyone who's out there and listening to all this and knowing what's going on, I'm sorry if things are going on in your cities, and I encourage you to know the facts of what's going on in your city and of what's causing all these protests. Go learn the facts instead of just listening to news outlets. Don't just learn the black and white and just pin blame on one person and totally forgo everything else. It was a snowball that ended in people doing things that are out and out wrong, but that does not all of a sudden make others a saint. That doesn't mean that their actions were 100% they were right and the other was wrong. That's not how this world works. Please, at least if you go out there and are trying to make sure this stays in the public spotlight, keep your facts straight and keep an open mind to the idea that you're going to come across people who honestly need to hear the full story. And you need to be one of the ones that are educated enough to know the full story as it unfolds, and not just the little highlights that said somebody died, and not the highlights that said it was a white person that killed a black person, and not the highlights that said it was a police officer who is police brutality. Not those highlights. Learn the full story and the extent to why you're out there trying to make a change, because if you do not, you're fighting for the wrong change. If you really think that you can just learn half a story and try to get change, you're fighting for the wrong thing from the get-go. Now I'm going to start the chat bot because I was afraid people were going to quote things. And now I'm going to get on to everyone re-give me that Navi hey if you want me to say hi. We're going to play more Resident Evil. It's going to scare the bejesus out of me. It is going to be first person and it's going to be all Hunter Gammas. I hope you guys can hear me clearly and properly. If you can't, let me know. Does this microphone sound as good as my normal microphone? I hope it does. Other than that, I'm gonna go ahead. Hopefully I don't have two instances of this running all of a sudden. No, don't let that run. Come on. let me get my other thing as I'm trying to. I purposely made it so quotes wouldn't work until after all this. I didn't want somebody quoting something I had said right there. Let me see how. Yeah, scrolling up isn't gonna work. Seeing Navi before isn't gonna work. I can't scroll that far up because I've been talking for too long. So, come on, splash screen. There it is. So, we have got with us tonight. If you want to see my actual, check my community post if you want to see the way that I worded it, why I wasn't streaming the past few days. And again, I'm streaming tonight because somebody else has ears for me, so that while I'm wrapped up in this, I'm not caught off guard. And my son isn't with me, so I don't have to worry about being protector to him and regretting that I did this instead of having ears properly. There's a few reasons, but now I'm back at it. So hello there, Jerry Watson, Rowena, GJD 8000. Man, this mic is supposed to actually have an effect that helps make the voice a bit deeper. That's actually this microphone's specialty. It needs a cloud lifter. Still, people were wrong about that, but that's fine. But let me go. Oh, I dropped the controller. Jerry Watson, Rowena, GJD 8000. Liza. Lisa. Oh God, I messed it up. Paige, Gren, James Daly, Daly, the AEG3, one of our newest family members. Brittany Woodring, Nuclear Squid. Hey, it's been a hot second. Hello there. We've got Cloud Gaming, Superman 47, Johnny Robinson, Vaden, Gus, Kimura Panda, Soul Bad Guy, Chad, Yashuin Gaming, Wiley Blair, Kale. Whoops, it kind of went all the way to the bottom while I was still trying to make Evie, Rusty Nail, My Dune, which means I must say nipples, Zachariah Kane. We've got Evil Yoshi, one of our newest shields, Shadow, Ruiz family, Sergio. I see Kokoki over there. Oh God, it scrolled to the bottom. It scrolled to the bottom. Oh jeez, oh boy. Malky, Holt, Psycho 066, Kara Lee, Foxhound 09, Duncan. Hello there, one of our newest shields. Joseph, hello there. Vash the Stampede. All right, we're gonna get into it. I'm unpausing alerts. I don't know if that alerts have been paused for a while. Dark King, hello there. I need to actually hit this. All right, here we go. So what we've got going on, I hope, and again, I hope. Tell me if the microphone goes sounding way off because I am not used to. Again, this is me testing what's supposed to be a backup microphone. So there's that. Let's make sure that I've got the RE framework on that it's going to be first person. Yep, it's first person. And I've disabled vignetting. Okay, and let's see where we were. Where were we? We were at... SpaghettiOs. Bleepies from hell. Hadn't we just got to... What part had we got? The mic sounds crystal clear. I'm glad. Yeah, the SM57. I love the SM57. Usually I've used it before, but yeah,
Well, this
Hey, soul
this
bad
has given me
guy.
direction. It actually arouses me very much. Thank you, American people.
Thank you.
It's the 21st century. We live in an age of supercomputers, smart tech, smart cars, and smartphones.
Yeah.
Hopefully, we can one day upgrade society by becoming better people. Change begins with self and is taught in the home. Stay safe, everyone.
Well, this
Everyone
It was
hashtag
giving me
so
an
bad
erection.
guy.
It actually arouses me very much. Thank you, American people.
Thank you.
And everyone, phenoms, hashtag over. Thank you so much. Yeah, the low end response isn't good because to fight the effect of the proximity effect, the low end actually tapers off big time the closer you get to it. Supposedly that's the way the mic works. So really what I need is basically I've maxed out my preamp. I need to be able to have a cloud lifter and push this thing all the way over here so I don't max out its basically trying to make sure that I understand the mechanics of what they're going for this microphone. It's just a backup though. That's all it has to be. So, I need a cloud lifter and I need to back this thing off because the closer I get, the more it dips down the lower end. I know that. It's trying to counter effect the proximity effect. So, hello there, phenoms. Thank you so much. And Soul Bad Guy, thank you so much. Hey, the thing's still working. Where were we? We were doing this Inferno on, was it the 27th? Is that the 27th? Sounds right. 259 sounds like, yeah, we had to redo, wait, no. Does 259 sound right? 27th, 259. Were we streaming on the 27th? Where were we? Where were we? Oh God. Does anyone remember? Before I start that timer? Anyone remember where we were? When we were playing, because I'm trying to remember. We got to Kendo's shop, didn't we? I think we got to Kendo's shop. Did we get to Kendo's shop? No. Did I have to beat the Nemesis over there? Oh God. Do I have to look up my own live stream to see exactly what I was doing? Yeah, I gotta do that. I have to look it up because now that I'm looking at it, it was the 27th at the end of the night. 27th, the end of the night? Or like 27th early morning for me. 27th end of the night, couple slots down. Oh wait, you're right. 27th into the night. Yeah, there we go. Wait, no. The staff break room isn't right. We weren't at the staff. That was when I beat the other one. Oh gosh. No, it's not that one. It's not that one.
Well,
it's this one. There it is.
Giving me an erection. It actually arouses me very much. Thank you.
I think.
American people.
Thank you.
Microphone check. Microphone checka. Hey Steven and everyone. Never thought I would experience a riot curfew in affect in DC in my life, but here we are.
Yep.
Stay safe all of you in affected areas.
Yes, please everyone stay safe. Hashtag Mike L over there. Thank you so much. I am quickly checking my own end of my own live stream from last time to see exactly where I was. Yeah, I was at the power station. I was at the power station. I ended it off on the death screen at the power station. I believe I have that correct. So I believe I was at the power station. So yeah, the this save right here, downtown garage reactivate the power station. I believe this is correct. I think it is. And I ended in the same day. So yeah, I think this is right. Yep. So I didn't get to the save. Is that right? How did I die? Yep, that's how I died. Okay, yep. We gotta reactivate the substation. That's where we are. Let's go. Let's get into this. All right. So I only have like 3 hours in me, but I really appreciate the support. Let me put it more like this. I only have 3 hours in me, mostly because that's all I'm comfortable doing. I am actually worried about not having my ears out outside of these cans when it gets closer to when, you know, the cowards of society start coming out and doing their thing. which is usually a little bit later at night. And I usually stream until it's later at night. So I'm trying to, I don't know, not be doing this when that happens. Also, I immediately see that this is an issue. Let's just go ahead and fix that. Let's just go ahead and fix that. Let's go ahead and I've never used a mic like this one like this on one of my streams or something like this before. Never have, so I don't know exactly where it's supposed to be. I mean, I know that this is the correct distance-ish, but yeah, cloud lifter and a bigger filter to keep my face further away from this and to keep the wind out. That's what's the number of views for the Bayonetta video? I'd have to go check because for me to check is actually difficult also. All right, I have Dramamine in me to help with the disorienting first person of this. Yeah, I've got a pop filter I can put on this. The windscreen is fine. I've got a pop filter out in the living room that my son was using, and I could go get the pop filter, but my plosives shouldn't be too bad right now. I don't believe and I actually have the legitimate bigger gray filter, a wind filter for this coming, which will take care of all plosives. As for a backup mic. So I didn't figure I needed to go strip off the pop filter from my son's setup. At least not yet. Oh gosh. Oh yeah, that'll help for sure. Now to afford a cloud lifter, because one day it is my dream to be able to save up an extra $400 that I just can drop on a SM7B, and then 150 for the cloud lifter that will make it so I have clean gain out of it. But I also know that the drawback to that is that if I ever get my hands on an SM7B and a cloud lifter, and I have that setup, which costs like $550 after everything's said and done, what's going to happen is that I'm going to want it for both computers. But this is basically an SM7B on a smaller scale. It's close. And come at me, please. How cheap is cheap? Hey, I just saw someone, Patrick, you can get a cheap SM7B. He has a sure endorsement. Holy smokes. That'd be awesome. I still have to have extra money to do that, and I haven't been streaming the past few nights because of certain things happening in areas like, I don't know, maybe a little bit of rioting and whatnot. So I haven't. Please don't eat me. Please let me. Oh God. Okay. Oh boy. Well, as a backup microphone, this is working out so far because my true backup that I wanted is a Blue Ember. And I like that condenser mic so much. Oh God. Oh God. Oh God. Oh God. At least 40%. That's a big deal. At least 40%. Patrick, hit me up on Instagram, please. If I could push the price down to that and basically have a setup for a microphone for only all of it said and done.
Well, this
holy
giving me an
smokes.
erection. It actually arouses me very much. Thank you. Thank you.
Hello again.
Hey
Not sure if he'll be here for long. Trying to move so everything is kinda crazy right now. Any games you're planning to stream soon? I think Doom would fit your masochistic gaming tendencies well, if I may say so. Love your content. Laughing face.
Thank you, everybody. Hashtag Zach Randall over there. Any other games? Yes, because of, and again, we've got it. I'm still trying to figure out Persona 5 how it's gonna come around. Bayonetta, I think, is gonna be left to me being able to record it. Stacy sent Doom Eternal, and I think I'm gonna go ahead and stream that soon. I think I'm gonna retackle Bloodborne. because I think I messed up with some of my side quests that would get me something. I want to restart it only because, and this is the only reason I want to restart it, because of all the wonderful things that it does. Because of that umbilical cord. Don't ruin it for me. I still don't know what that damn umbilical cord does. I just haven't found a way to get another piece of the umbilical cord. And the Hunter's Dream is on fire. So I feel like it's in-gamey, but I can't find other pieces, which means I want to start the game back over. One, to learn the mechanics, and second, to see if by skipping over all the little quests that I didn't do like any of, if I accidentally screwed it up. All right, come on, dude, come on. Come on. Holy smokes, you're really close. I do not know how gammas are going to be coming. Run, 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 run. If I scream, I apologize. Are my plosives bad? Are my peas really popping? Do I need to go? Are my peas popping enough? Peas popping enough that I need to go get that pop filter from the other microphone? It's a cheap one. It's a gooseneck one. I can go strip it from the microphone in the living room, but I didn't think I needed to, but I can. Are you just gonna stand there? Yes. Keep standing. Good. I'm happy that this microphone is working as a... Yeah, oh God! Oh, you could... Sorry about that. I'm glad. I'm learning my lesson. Have backup gear. Especially at a time like this when everyone keeps buying all the backup gear. Are you kidding me? Jeezums. You know how hard it was to get a hold of, like, the Scarlet boxes even? Or to get, like, customer support to even just... Oh God. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I know they're better with instrumentation like that. Yeah. Oh, God. Oh, God. Okay, hi. You want to open your mouth for me? Or drop like that. Yes. Die, 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 die. But my Blue Ember, me and my Blue Ember as a backup mic, it just so happens that the Blue Ember was connected to my interface when I had the power surge in the office. So, whoops. I remember that I need a backup mic that is not connected to everything, for in case, I don't know, something else like that comes up. Please pronounce your P's properly. Oh, God. That feels like Chester Cheetah chewed a chunk of cheap cheddar cheese type stuff going on, which is like voice lesson flashbacks. Are you having PTSD? Yeah. Is it from your time surf? No. It's from the coach. Someone who coached you through the sport? No. Vocal coach. Coach. Oh, God. Yeah, everyone seems to be trying to do what I'm doing and forgetting that it takes a little bit more than just buying stuff. Welcome to the family, Justin Masters. Thank you so much. Hello there, a new family member. I am going to save it here. And then we're going to see what's going on. Oh, by the way, I have more stuff. In fact, I have everything now unlocked except the rocket launcher because I refuse and I haven't gone through the steps, but I went ahead and unlocked like everything. So I'm going to save it here. There we go. That'll work.
Smells like...
I'm hoping that I can get away with dealing with the gammas on a smaller scale. Like, not too many of them at a time. I already hear them. I don't like that. I'm gonna burn through ammunition way too fast. If I'm not careful about it. Oh boy. All right, let's get that in there. Oh gosh. Okay. So I need enough for the 2 herbs. Wait. 1. Uh-oh. How many herbs do I actually need? The box, the herb, the herb. Are there 3 herbs? I can always combine 2. All of a sudden, my brain just told me that there are 3 herbs in here, but I don't really need herbs. Most of the things that are hurting me are 1-hit kills. Where are you? Please don't just sneak up. Please, where are they? Please have the AI of, like, the actual spiders. Oh, God, that one's on this. Okay. Nope, 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 no, 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 nope, nope, nope. Come on. Come on. Come on. Oh, Justin, yeah, that's working. I recorded all the footage needed for it. Now I'm dubbing it over. I've gotten plenty done in the past little while. Posting it, totally different story. Getting it posted. I have been busy being a dad. That's never a good enough excuse. Yeah, well, a good excuse because I'm always a dad, and I get this done just fine most of the time. Literally, the thing holding me up lately has been the current topics at hand. Come on, come down this hallway. There we go. Oh, I've already got the footage for it. It's not just about testing. I've got footage for it. I'm gonna dub over the footage that I have that I picked up, and I recorded it luckily through the Blackmagic Quad over there. So I captured it in ProRes so that me and Final Cut can get along. Okay. Whoopsie daisies. My bad. Well. All right. That made me had to pee a little bit.
It smells like... Oh, I don't even want to think about it.
Oh, is Kikoki. It better be an overhaul with the main story points kept. It better be. Otherwise, why? Why even? I think it'll be a complete overhaul, really, and it should be. Main story points kept. You know, the main beats that help with continuity of the story, so that all of a sudden it's not as if. Basically, by the end of the remake of Resident Evil 4, the continuity needs to keep up with the original Resident Evil 4 of kind of like the end result, which is basically what Leon accomplished, who lives, who dies, and like who, yeah, basically that. What Leon accomplishes at the end, who lives, who dies. Those are the only things I really need to see that are stable by the end. But everything in between, oh, and anything that carries over into other stories. And the CGI movies. So basically, people, for example, like if Krauser got a different treatment, for example, like Krauser can't just get a different treatment just because. I meant to hit the thing. And like things like if people like lived or died that weren't supposed to live or die, like whatever. Otherwise, they just, yeah, it needs to be an overhaul. That's the whole point of a remake instead of a remaster. And the game needs a remake, and I did a long ass stream to show why, and so I'm not going to discuss it as much right now.
Fucking gross.
Oh no, RE4 Remake is in the process, is being remade this very second. I just saw a random comment. You gotta keep up with these things. It is being remade right now. People need to stop looking for official confirmation from Capcom and look at the development teams and what they're saying. If they say they're working on it, most likely they're working on it, which is why I'm not even going to talk about it much right now, because I had to deal with that bull for Resident Evil 3. Do you think Resident Evil 3 will be remade? Well, when the lead developer slips up and says that they're simultaneously making Resident Evil 2 and 3 at the same time, and no one took that as being true confirmation, then I'm not going to... I'm not going to... Uh-oh, no! Ah! But is in development, so it's officially in some kind of development. No, the action is what they got wrong. Well, okay, they either need to go one way or the other. Oh boy.
Gross.
Yeah, well, Resident Evil 4 Remake has been in development hell since that time. That doesn't mean that they actually started the correct process yet. Development hell and actually getting the team assigned, two totally different things. And it has suffered from development hell. Oh god, get it. Okay. For anyone who makes comments like Code Veronica should be first, go watch that 12-hour stream. Skip to when the actual game comes on screen instead of me saying hi. So basically this screen that looks like this, and listen to my explanation of why Code Veronica does not need to come first. Period. Full stop. Into discussion. Code Veronica absolutely does not need to come first. And that's really and I explain it pretty well over there. Unless you really want to see no more remakes than Code Veronica butchered and forgotten, then yeah, sure, let it be remade next. If you don't, then go listen to, you know, the business side of things and why it would behoove not only the consumer but Capcom to wait. You know. Ah! There's the second one! I would only want to remake on one, so I don't have to open the doors without the loading screen. That was actually their ingenious way. There are two of them. The doors opening were the ingenious way of hiding loading screens, which is why they became iconic. To load the next room, they had an animation that was always, basically something that was always loaded and ready to go. Not quite a movie file, but were they movie files on there? I'm not sure. Like pre-rendered files. I'm not sure how exactly they did it, but basically to load the next area is why you had the slow door transitions. It helped heighten the they figured out a dual purpose for it. It helped heighten the tension and it let them load the next area. And it's kind of cool that they came up with that. I don't mind door loading screens because it's better than just every single time you change a room in Resident Evil 1 Remake that it goes over and it's like loading. I'd rather the door, because especially since they added Crimson Heads in the remake, the tension is real. There's some real tension when it comes to Crimson Heads. Oh my god. That tension all of a sudden is really built when all of a sudden you realize there could be Crimson. Shut up, Watch. You don't know me. Resident Evil 5 wouldn't be bad for a remake. In fact, I was thinking about pissing some people off with one of the videos that I have written down for ideas of what I'm going to be doing on this channel, which is why get this. Resident Evil 5 is one of my least liked games. I'm of the Resident Evil franchise, if not the least liked. It's one of my least liked games. Thinking about doing a video about how Resident Evil 5 is a better game than Resident Evil 4. Because from an objective standpoint, Resident Evil 5 is actually the superior of the two games. It sold so well because of the hype from Resident Evil 4. But, oh god, there he was. Of the two. No, I 6 was a... Leon's campaign saved me from hating 6. Oh yeah, of the two games, just trying to be objective from a developmental standpoint, of the two games, the superior game to me is Resident Evil 5, not 4. However, I don't like playing Resident Evil 5 all that much, really, if at all. I like Resident Evil 4 much more. But objectively speaking, the superior game is Resident Evil 5. It took action, and it took it as a through line, and they never stopped. While Resident Evil 4 sat there and was bipolar. At least, maybe you were deceived into buying it thinking that it was going to be survival action, but at least when they went action for Resident Evil 5, people who now know what the game is, they know the game. You know what you're playing. It's an action game. It's got horror elements, but it's an action game, and that's just all there is to it. And for that reason alone, I believe that, among others, Resident Evil 5 is the superior of the two games from a developmental standpoint. From which one will I play on this channel? You bet your sweet ass I like Resident Evil 4 better. Can he move? Can he move? Will he die? Please die. I think he's dead. I don't know. Okay. Oh yeah, Leon's campaign is the only reason why I ended up liking 6 more than 5. It was amazeballs. Chicken legs, anyone? Wait, I didn't just pull him out of... Welcome to the family, Wesley Pipes. Jason, because I've never watched anyone else play it, nor do I know anyone else's techniques, so I prefer not to hear anything of what to do, because that's how I keep games fresh for me. And because you just need to listen to the rules, please. No hints means that, again, this game has the same rules as Resident Evil 2. That as soon as I learn somebody else's techniques or watch somebody else play it, I am not playing it. I'm not touching it ever again. I'm not touching it anymore on my channel. It's done with. It's over. That's why there's a rule still for even games I've beaten a lot of times, because I use my own things I found. And that's part of the way that I keep it interesting, of being able to do mods. Because I don't know how somebody else would ever even tackle. Like, there might be an easy way to tackle these things. I don't know. No, you're supposed to crumple when I shoot you in the leg. You asshole. I thought that was what you did. You don't go down for that? Shit. Thank you. I'll count that. Maybe it was waiting for me to make a move again. Oh, if they made a Resident Evil 5 remake, him punching a boulder? No, I think they should make it more realistic. Punching the boulder was what the director for Resident Evil 7, from the 2017 version of Resident Evil 7, 2017? They come out in 2017? That's what he cited as they realized that they went the wrong direction, the boulder punching scene. I think that would need to be removed for something more realistic. At a time and day where we're looking for more reality in our video games. when you can get somebody literally pinpointing, I know where our franchise went bad, it's this scene, then maybe it doesn't survive to a remake. Or maybe, and I would love this, a nod to the original by trying to figure out how Sheva can get over to him, and you see the boulder or something like that, and he's like, you can have an optional, like, for a second, touch it, and he says something like, this will never work, and then you go to the practical solution. I would love a nod like that if they actually, this is all hypothetical, because they're not remaking Resident Evil 5 soon, anytime soon, like, for years, if ever, right now, but, like, just to, like, for him to look at it, and you have optional dialogue if you get there fast enough to, like that would be awesome. That would be amazing. Gaiden needs a remake so people even know that the game exists. Oh, it would be amazing if they basically gave a nod to it, that there's a giant boulder and said he does something more practical, or jumps a gap or something like that, rather than, and basically it doesn't need to be around so close to lava in the first place. So
Done. Time to get the hell out of here.
all right,
Come
are you both
on.
dead? I think they're dead. I think they're dead. Okay. Oops, ran into that wall. Is it safe to go this way? Doesn't one hide? Even Wesker, though, people say, Wesker punch a boulder. We're in a modern age where people actually know their physics.
Okay. All that.
Hey,
leaves is the main power
Superman.
Well, this is giving me an erection. It actually arouses me very much. Thank you, American people.
Thank you.
Thanks again for your vids and entertainment, but also for your intellect.
Well, thank you for such high praise. Everybody hashtag Superman over there. I really don't think of myself as having all that high of real intellect. I just think of myself as somebody who tries to survey the world around them in a very cautious, not necessarily optimistic. Oh, but basically, I tried to observe the world different. Here's I just paused the clock because I have another goal that I just decided to put up, because Patrick's talking over there about possibly getting 40% off of that microphone. And part of me is thinking, man, it would be nice to be able to move up to shore sometime. And part of me is thinking that tomorrow and the next week coming along, if the riots don't stop in Atlanta and in the county that I am in, because there are some, that tonight might be the only night I can actually get anything done. So my stretch goal is basically going to change. Here's what I think about my intellect, if you will. Just bear with me. I think it'll really. This is what I think. And I just took the goal down for a second. I'm about to put it right back. Here's what I think. I think it's the same way when I did photography. I just showed off last stream some of the photography I did, and anyone can take a photo at eye level. But me as when I worked as a photographer, it was my job to make it either where at eye level I saw something that others didn't, or I was willing to barely manipulate myself, whether get on the ground, get up higher, whatnot, do what it took to make it to get a shot no one else could get, because anyone can get the camera and take the shot at eye level. And if you're going to take it at eye level, then you need to make sure that you frame the shot perfectly. Basically, all of it takes trying to think outside of what everyone else around you is going to do. Because for example, being a photographer, everyone's seeing the same thing I'm seeing. There are even people following me trying to tag along for while I'm doing like bridal portraits and stuff like that. So they could take the same photo I'm taking. Unless I do the photo in a way they can't replicate it, even if they're trying to take the same photo over my shoulder. Whether it be my flashes that are remote triggered or something like that, or basically the position that I'm in, or lying down, or up high, or the way I have her, basically, that somebody else could try to take the exact same photo, but they couldn't pull it off. That's how I try to view my intellect. If I'm looking at an issue, I want to see it in a way that not every single human being is going to see it in. I don't want to look at it the same way everyone else is, because I know that everybody kind of just gravitates, and even the most recent issues right now prove that. People gravitate towards one way of seeing things. And basically, the way I kind of view it is that it's almost like photography taking a photo at eye level. I'd rather get on my belly, get high on the ground, high off the ground, do some